So let me give everybody a content warning and a trigger warning real quick because if literally listening to the sound of Donald Trump's voice turns your stomach, you might not want to watch this segment. But during Trump's campaign through South Carolina during the Republican South Carolina primary, he took the time to come and address the Black Conservative Federation of Wayward Niggas, but BCF for short. It's not BCFOWN as I say it is. I think that's the old name. Maybe they just shortened it to the Black Conservative Federation. I like to keep of Wayward Niggas on there because it applies. It's accurate and it makes sense. So Trump in pure Trumpian form. Will, if you could cue up that top clip for me at that time code, because here's the thing. What I found from these remarks is that Trump was astonishingly comfortable in front of these wayward niggas, okay? And I mean, more comfortable than he is at the Klan rallies, right? Because ultimately, guys, we know what Trump is. Trump is a Northeast liberal racist, right? Trump, he doesn't he doesn't actually hate black people. He just wants black people to forever be subservient to a man of his stature, right? Of his race, his gender, his income, his elitism. Like, he loves black people so long as they know their place, right? And trust me, guys, the audience at the Black Conservative Federation of Wayward Niggas, oh, they knew their place. Okay. Like, I'm sure Trump got called boss or boss man several times. Okay. And let me tell you, the league's worst Negroes was in attendance. Dr. Ben Carson was there. I'm trying to think. Alveda King was there. Like, just think of the worst assists of black conservatives that you could think of. Timmy Scott. I think Timmy Scott was in the building. Of course he was. Timmy wants to be VP. He's doing a great job. Tim Scott, absolutely. Who? What? A nigga that knows his place. Absolutely, no question. So the clips that I want to play you guys are a combination of things. The first thing I'm gonna play you is this joke. Let me play y'all this joke, and then we get to the other shit. But check out the joke. Check out the joke.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones. You see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These lights. We've come a long way together. Lynn Patton. She's been incredible. Lynn Patton. And tonight's honorees so deserving. Mary.
Cut that, Will. Okay. That's the opening. So So I'm laughing at a couple things. Number one, this thing is ridiculous. Okay, first and foremostly. Second of all, every nigga in that room also fucking ridiculous. Stop laughing so hard. And here my coon ass come laughing too. But I'm saying this thing can talk about I done came a long way. Why? Because you used to be a roving racist out here. What was that? Something just popped up and scared the shit out of me. Okay. So anyway, so that was the joke. That was Trump's opening joke, which I have to say, not his opening joke, but that's the joke I wanted to open with because this nigga did end up saying a bunch of ridiculous things. Okay, now y'all gonna be okay. Y'all gonna get a little Trump today. Okay, this is the next president of the United States. I suggest you get used to his rhetoric if you haven't already. Hold on, let me get to the next clip because one of my most favoriteest things, you guys know, one of my favoriteest things in the world. I love white on white violence. Jesus. I'm reading about Catherine II. Nigga, Europe in the 18th century. Jesus, the whites couldn't stop fucking up each other. I mean, my God. I mean, outrageous. So anyway, I'm with the shit. Okay, let's go. The whites is calling each other racist. Great. The Klansman is calling the president of the White Citizens Council a racist. Love it. I absolutely love it. So hold on. Let me get to this part Well, I think it's going to be the second clip that I have noted there. Yes, it's going to be the second clip that I have noted there. And this one is going to be a tiny bit lengthy. Please don't leave, y'all. Listen to this man, because I'm not saying, for one, I'm not saying listen to this nigga because he making good points. No, no. I just really enjoy, number one, where racists call each other racist. And number two, I have a feeling, and I'm surprised if it hasn't happened already, and maybe it has and I just haven't noticed, but I'm surprised that this particular speech has not been cut up and widely disseminated by these black Trumpers, however many they are in number. Like, Trump said a lot of the shit that susceptible Negroes would be gravitating to, right? People who are fed up with the Democratic Party and of course lack the political imagination to think that, like any other options could be formulated or established or whatever, and they just see this two-party system and think that they have to make a choice, right? And now they are choosing away from Democrats and Biden and possibly looking towards Trump. And some of these talking points that he gave, I think, would make people who may be politically naive or something along those lines, make them think twice about Donald Trump. And let me be crystal clear. That's not what we're saying over here, okay? it is fuck Trump. Why? Because Trump is a Klansman. Even though he's a New York City Klansman, he's still a fucking Klansman. Trump is a racist. Trump is a misogynist. Trump is an alleged sexual assaulter. Trump is a grifter. Trump is a scammer. Trump is all around a terrible person. He doesn't have any redeeming qualities, but for this nigga's hilarious. Okay. Like, it's just the worst person you could think of. And this motherfucker's funny as shit. And it's like, I feel like a terrible person for laughing at Trump. Cause I'm like, I know this man is terrible, but why is this shit so funny? It is. So I want you guys to listen to Trump again, and you're going to have to correct your Uncle Tony or your Uncle Tito, because they're going to start running this shit, and you're going to be like, Uncle Tito, knock it off. But yeah, so check out what Trump has to say. And one thing I do appreciate about him is that he never misses a chance to kick Joe Biden. Every time he references Joe Biden, it's crooked Joe, that bitch ass nigga Joe. Like, he always got something bad to say about Joe Biden. And I said, sir, I also always have bad things to say about Joe Biden. So I that's the anyway. So check this out and listen to this pitch to Black America that Trump is about to do. And at the same time, read Joe Biden for filth pretty accurately. And may I also add, Trump is also a racist piece of shit. So just to be clear, just so we're clear, I don't want y'all to get my giddiness and enthusiasm fucked up out here. It's fuck this nigga. But anyway, this nigga's hilarious. Check him out. Let's go, Will.
Biden wrecking the dreams of African Americans is nothing new. You know this. You know the real story behind this guy. I said, do I really want to say this stuff? Then I said, what the hell? I've been saying it. When they said, oh, you can't run. When you look at the presidency, it's such a cherished, incredible position, such responsibility. But 92% of the people were politicians and 8% were generals. So no percent were from where I came from. So they said, oh, he's just going to have a good time. You think I'm having a good time? I'm not sure it's a good time, but I love it. I love it. Because we're going to make America great again. That's why I love it. But I said, do we really want to hit him that hard? Because if you do, you can really go back into history with him. It's the only thing he's really been good at his entire career. You know what that is? Being a racist, because he's a racist. Crooked Joe backed NAFTA, which is a disaster It's been a disaster for Hispanic Americans and for Black Americans. China's entry into the World Trade Organization, where they just ripped us apart. I took in $472 billion from China. No other president has taken in anything. They did not want to see me do so well. We're leading in every poll by a lot. You see it. and I don't think China's too happy about that, actually. The Trans-Pacific Partnership and every other globalist horror show that ripped the guts out of our country and pulverized black workers and owners of small businesses. So to any black voter who's thinking of casting your ballot for us for the first time, it might be for the first time, and probably is, it's amazing. What's happened in the last 2 years is actually amazing, and it's been based on results, real results. Just remember, you owe crooked Joe Biden absolutely nothing. You don't owe him a thing, so do not feel guilty. Please do not feel guilty. The radical Democrat Party has waged war on black families for many, many decades. Think of it. It's really 100 years. It's a century. They've controlled these cities for 100 years. Hard to believe. I said, can't be. It is. They've controlled. And look at what. You take a look at Baltimore. You take a look at New York. You take a look at Chicago. You take a look at all of these places. Take a look at what's going on in the West Coast. Take a look at what's happening. And they've controlled these cities for 100 years. And nothing happens. They're slum areas. They're dangerous. Nothing has happened. And we're going to change it. We're going to change it. Thank you. I like that guy.
Talking good, boss.
Thank you very much.
Talking real
What
good,
a voice.
boss.
I love that guy. Who the hell is that? Is he a friend of yours?
It's Toby, boss. It's me, Toby.
We're going to send him to the Met. So come join us in the Republican Party and never, ever look back. We're going to do it right. We're going to do it right. On top of everything else, Joe Biden really has proven to be a very nasty and vicious racist. He's been a racist. Whether you like it or don't like it, I happen not to like it. Most of the people in this room happen to not like it. And if somebody does like it, they're not supposed to be here. Biden spent years palling around with notorious segregationists. You know that. He boasted that his home state was a slave state. He was very proud of that. He thought it was great. If you go back and look at his body language and the way he said it, he was very proud of it. He said that he didn't want his children to grow up in a, quote, racial jungle. I don't want my children in a racial jungle. Joe Biden drafted the 1994 crime bill, which caused unfair sentencing disparities that devastated the black community, black families. Cory Booker called Biden the architect of mass incarceration. Remember this. It was a time when Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden were talking about predators and super predators. You heard that. This is a hell of a lot more of a speech than you thought you were going to get, isn't it, huh? They thought would be boring them, would give a little quick, boring speech, but we got it's called Let's Tell It Like It Is, right? And then years later, tell it like it is.
Black Conservative Federation of Wayward Negroes.
Thank you very much. I just want to tell the truth. Remember Howard Cosell? I just tell it like it is. It ended up getting him fired, but these are my... And then years later, in an act of stolen valor, Crooked Joe had the nerve to falsely portray himself as a hero of the civil rights movement, which was so false. And then he said that if African Americans didn't vote for him, you ain't black. Now that one's been so recent, I didn't even want to. But he did say that. A lot of people were surprised. He did say that. But that one's so recent, I didn't even want to put it in. We had to go back to the real stuff. But he did say that. I was a little surprised to see it. I'm sure you were too. Unlike racist Joe Biden, I've spent my entire life working hand in hand with black Americans to create jobs, build buildings, invest in our communities, and expand opportunity and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And we have. I built a lot of buildings, and I want to tell you, a black worker is a great worker. You've done an incredible job. They've done an incredible job. Really
All
talented.
right. That's good. Well, that's
people.
good. Ooh, the black workers, they worked, oh, almost like slaves. Ooh, they were just exceptional workers. Okay. So, apologies. I'm so sorry to subject you to 7 minutes of Donald Trump, but I wanted you guys to hear this because number one, whoever wrote that speech for Trump did, I would say, a good job. Pulled all the receipts on Joe Biden for considering who the audience was, the Black Conservative Federation of Wayward Niggas. And you heard them Wayward Niggas in there chanting USA, USA. I told you they was the Black Conservative Federation of Wayward Niggas. Y'all didn't believe me. That's fine. That's fine. USA. Uh-huh. And I so I won't say I'm concerned because I don't give a fuck who's the next fucking president. It's going to be dickhead A or dickhead B. Like either way, we all lose. So whoever becomes the next president is not going to change shit in fucking Palestine. Is not going to be able to roll back all these abortion restrictions. Is not going to all of a sudden make voting rights more accessible to people because don't forget voting rights was gutted under President Obama. It's amazing how all of these you would think universal civil rights, bodily autonomy rights, all this shit gets evaporated under Democrats. It's crazy how that happens. So anyway, in front of a national audience, though, like in front of a debate audience, because Trump don't give a fuck about running the dozens. If Trump can remember the shit, he gonna say it, right? If he can run all that shit on Joe Biden and call him a racist while Trump himself being a fervent racist, that might move the needle for some of your Uncle Tonys and Uncle Tito's out there. I really do think so. Because I think for whatever reason, and I can't explain it, I don't pretend to understand it. There's something about some of our brothers, some black men out here are very susceptible to conservative talking points. I don't know why. I don't get it. Kanye West and the rest of them wearing the MAGA hats. Like there's something to that. I'm not sociologically adept enough to get to the root of it and try to figure out why. Because I don't care why. Let them wayward niggas be wayward. I don't care. But but that kind of rhetoric that's going to move the needle with a few black folks. Now I think it's going to move the needle with black folks perhaps who already live in red states. So they're just going to be voting with the rest of the Trump rabble, to make sure that Trump maintains his red state hegemony, as it were. But in some of them swing states, I'm thinking of Nevada, I'm thinking of the Michigan, I'm thinking of Pennsylvania. I don't know about Georgia, Virginia. Oh yeah. Some of y'all wayward ass Uncle Tonys and Uncle Tito's might be susceptible. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, per my first statement, I don't give a fuck if Joe Biden lose. I want Trump and Biden to lose. But for those that might be concerned about what direction the black vote is going, I think black folks are still going to be reliably Democrat. I think overwhelmingly black folks are going to show out for vote blue no matter who. I think there's going to be a contingent of us radicals, so-called radicals, or at least radical thinking outside this two-party duopoly, outside of this political box, who are not going to vote for president at all. But I don't think we make up a large majority of the people out here. And then there's the people that are actually going to vote for the horse race, vote for Team Biden or Team Trump. And I think the Democrats are going to be a little shocked because even though I can't recall, was it Trump? I should have looked the shit up. I apologize. I remember Bush, W, and then with W, then with Obama, then with this bitch nigga, then that bitch nigga. So one of these Republicans, I can't remember, it might have been Trump, was able to siphon off, I think, 10% of the black vote. I may be overcounting that. But usually between 3 and 6% national vote of black folks when it comes to the presidential election, 3 to 6% will usually vote conservative, usually vote Republican. That's a pittance. That ain't nobody. But you bump that up to 10. Oh, you might be working with something. And a state that Joe Biden might be expected to win, like a Virginia, might get tilted if a few thousand wayward Uncle Tonys and wayward Uncle Tito's decide to make America great again. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted y'all to chew on that for a second. Hold on. Do I have one more Trump clip? I'm gonna play y'all one more, and then I'm not gonna make y'all know anything about Donald Trump for the rest of the night. But I watched this speech and I was like, not this nigga's not changing my mind. This nigga's not moving the needle. But I just heard, I'm like, oh, someone's going to fall for that. Somebody's going for that. I'm not sure who, but somebody is going for that. Hold on. Where do we go? Let's see. Let's see. I actually wanted to, that says 8903. That ain't no time code. It might be 903. So
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm pretty sure I want to say it's 903, Will. 903.
Nine
So, yes,
backwards.
yeah, we're going backwards.
Okay.
903, please. Um, so one thing Trump said in this speech that I don't think I've ever heard Biden say or talk about, and to the extent Trump discussed it while he was in office, maybe he did somewhat. And I think I was in part trying to ignore Trump his first term because the mainstream media had given us so much Trump before he got elected. By the time he got in office, I could care less. I was like, you know what, it's done now. So anyway, he talked about pardoning, and pardoning of prisoners. And the way he spoke about the system, in part, I mean, he didn't go comprehensive at all. But the fact that he had any sort of criticism, I think, for jails and for the way that he felt, I guess, powerful as a president to have that power of the pardon pen. If I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden has not pardoned or given clemency to very many people at all. And I do believe he is on pace to have pardoned or granted clemency to the fewest amount of people at this point in their term, right? So anyway, I want you to listen to Trump. He was referencing a gentleman in the audience by the name of Duke Tanner, who I believe was a formerly incarcerated person who Trump pardoned. And this is what Trump had to say. Take a listen.
Very grateful. But the one thing, when I gave pardons to people, every single person, I mean, I've never seen, when they see me, they cry. It's such an incredible power of the president. And people that I felt were unfairly convicted of something, or maybe it was too long. We had a woman, a wonderful woman. We all know who that is. I won't even mention names. She was given 50 years in jail, 50. She served 22, 23. And she had like 25 years left. I said, for what? And today it would be, they wouldn't, it would be a reprimand, what she did. And it was so sad to see that. I let her out. I let a lot of people out, a lot of great people. But I've never had anybody with a pardon. The endorsements, mostly good, but 10% of them just really not very appreciative. I wish I had them to do again. I would never give them. I would never give them. I'll tell you that much right now. The hell with those people. But when I pardon somebody, I've never had anybody get out and said, oh, I don't like him. I never liked him. I'd like to run against him. I'd like to do. They see me and they literally start to cry. People with records and people that had some big problems, and they're cleaner than anybody else in the room. When you give a pardon, they're expunged of everything. They're the cleanest people. I often say, this guy who had a rough life is cleaner than anybody else in the room. All dilettantes, right? They say the cleanest. But it's something that I really appreciate. So we appreciate some of the people that I gave pardons to are in this room, and we all know who you are. I know who you are, and it was my honor. It was my honor. A man who I really like, and he's a hell of a pastor, I can tell you that.
Right,
Pastor Mark Burns. Mark,
okay, yes.
Mark Burns?
So Trump shouted out all his favorite coons. And he had a long list too. I'm like, I didn't even realize there wasn't many black conservatives. He had a long list. But interesting. I don't know, when presidents use their pardon power. The reason I think Joe Biden has not pardoned many people is because he knows that those people, likely most eligible, most deserving of a pardon, are there because of policies that he put into place, right? Joe Biden, that's not inaccurate to describe him as the architect of mass incarceration. I mean, I think in the modern day, I think that's very fair. I think Joe Biden is not interested in really owning up to his record and the ways in which his policies, when he was a senator, and then further on as vice president, and so as president, have really been harmful to black folks. I don't expect Joe Biden to own up to that beyond lip service only, right? He'll say it because it's election time and people are gonna bring the shit up again. And Pop Jojo might get upset and start, I already apologize. I don't need to apologize to you people. Cool, nigga. Don't apologize. Send your dumb ass back to Wilmington in January 2025, sir. We don't care. We do not care. Because at the end of the day, y'all, some differences, yes, between Republicans and Democrats. Trump ain't gonna cut down American militarization around the world. Trump isn't gonna tell Benjamin Netanyahu to cease fire. None of that. So as Biden goes, Trump goes on some issues. And though it's not 100% across the board, Republicans and Democrats are united on enough issues that impact marginalized communities, black communities, that we can say there's not a whole lot of discernible difference really at the federal level. So anyway, I don't care who's president because our choices are abysmal. But for those who do care about such things, I just want y'all to be aware that your MAGA uncles, your black MAGA uncle, your Latino MAGA uncle, he might be going for this shit, and he might be able to bring, a couple of the primos over along with him, right? He might be able to convince a couple of y'all fake conservative cousins who don't like it, when their girlfriends talk back to them and shit. You know what I'm saying? He might be able to pull a few more of them. So if that's some shit you care about, you should try to discourage that propaganda. But if you don't care, and you here for the jokes as I am, well, then let's just enjoy the jokes, y'all, while the world goes to hell in a handbasket. Who says that we have to be, you know, not enjoying ourselves? And I know we're not going to enjoy ourselves when it comes to the issue of Palestine. No fucking way. But this American election is a clown show. Clown show. So kids, let us all watch the clowns entertain us all. And